Hey guys, welcome back to the F122, my team here on the ChesnoidPlays channel. If you missed the last episode, you really need to watch it because, my word, did we have an end to that Canadian Grand Prix. The perfect safety car timing that made our entire weekend. Potentially leading to the best result we're going to get all season. I won't spoil it any more than that. We're headed to Silverstone for round 10 this time around, a track that I love, a track that I like to think I'm half decent at. We're currently now the 9th fastest team. We've moved ahead of AlphaTauri in the performance index, which is good news. We've still got some parts on the way, and we're really not far behind Aston Martin either. And to be honest, actually, there, on that index, it says that AlphaTauri are slightly above us. But then here, it says that we're above them. So I'm not quite sure how it's going to pan out by the time we actually get to circuit. We are very close to getting to level 10 as a team. So we should be able to add a new sponsor to the car at some point over this Grand Prix weekend, which will further improve our finances, meaning we can further improve our facilities, meaning we can upgrade the car quicker, meaning we can get points more regularly. I'm going to put some old parts in to do practice, etc., but hoping for a solid result here in Great Britain at Silverstone. We shall give it our best shot, and hopefully everything will come to us. Do drop the video a like, of course, to make sure that the content helps get the channel pushed to new people. I really appreciate it, and your continued feedback in the comment section is absolutely brilliant. And thank the Lord, because it can go either way. It's a fully sunny race weekend at Silverstone. I was not looking forward to potentially having some rain, but you can see how many parts have passed the tests, etc., and now fully developed and on the car, which is great. And that's probably why, yeah, there you go. It's updated now. We've actually gotten to the race weekend, and ourselves and Aston Martin pipping up above AlphaTauri. We get a raid from Emery of 211. Thank you very much indeed. How did your race go? I briefly tuned in earlier and you were at Spa. Was that for a full Grand Prix weekend, or did you do multiple races? Thank you for the raid, though. Welcome in, everyone that's coming across from Emery's stream. We're doing some My Team here as well. It's literally just about to start. We were in the process of doing a YouTube intro for the highlights video over on ChesnoidPlays. You did okay. Have a good stream. Thank you, Emily. Appreciate the raid. We should have to return the favour at some point when you're still live whilst I go off. Hopefully those of you that come across from Emery's stream will enjoy 100% race weekend, or 100% race distance weekend, whilst we get cracking. So without any further ado then, let's just get cracking, shall we? Even though it's faster in a straight line, I think I'd rather have the extra confidence in the car in the corners. I'm waiting so long for the tyres to come to me. For the car to rotate, it's just not. The extra straight line speed's not worth it. So preset 4 is a no. Preset 3 and the custom setup, there's not much between them at all. It's kind of give or take. So I think because the front end was a little bit pointy, a little bit more direct with the custom setup than it was with the balanced preset, I'll probably go with that one. We'll probably go with the custom. 1.6 seconds off Charles Leclerc at the top of the timing charts, but obviously that's with worn parts, and it is only practice, so the AI aren't absolutely gunning for it. We'll go and put fresher parts in the car, and we'll head straight to qualifying. Only improved up to P14. I don't know whether George has got a problem or some old components in his car, but he's definitely not got the time there. We should, with this lap, get into the 129s. We are 6/10 up, nearly 7/10 up on Yuki Tsunoda. Not the best of stow corners, but still gaining a little bit of time on our previous lap. Ride the curb a little bit, help rotate the car. Get the throttle down, and we're going to be much quicker than our previous lap time. Good enough for P9 in Q1. Through to Q2 we go. Maybe a top 10 start if we can replicate that performance. Lewis does a 28.2. Are you sure, Lewis? Are you feeling okay? A 28.2. My God. We are going to do a 29.1, so I'm still 9/10 off Lewis, but that's P7 and into Q3 for, I think, just the second time this season. Another good lap. here at Silverstone. In Q3, we qualify P6. Let's go! P6! In Season 1, to whack out a P6 at Silverstone, you love to see it. A 29.3 wasn't as fast as we could have gone. If I'd have replicated my Q2 lap, we'd have been in P5. Sainz and Max was 2 seconds off. Not sure what's happening with the Red Bulls there. Both well off the pace. We were still 1.2 seconds off Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari, who was astronomically quick. A 120.097. Sorry, 128.097. It's an outrageously fast lap. We will start P6 for the British Grand Prix. That is a GG. And Teo's up to level 8 as well now, I think. Not quite, actually. Not quite. When he does get up to level 8, it's going to make him more expensive to re-sign, unfortunately. But I'm quite happy to stick with Teo for the rest of the season. We'll re-sign him when the moment comes. But for now, woohoo! This could be an exciting Grand Prix, couldn't it? Well, we know what the grid's going to look like. Unless someone has gotten any penalties. We'll have a look and see if anyone's gotten any penalties. There's few cars in front of us, so I don't know whether we will start any higher than P6. A smooth operator, Carlos Sainz. Love that. So it was Mercedes, wasn't it? In 3 and 4, it is indeed. Has Checo taken a pen? He has not. So we will start P6. 1.246 seconds off pole. So still a lot of work to be done. I'm curious to know where Teo was then, because I didn't check, actually. Every other circuit, almost every other circuit, we've been right next to our teammate. We've been right next to Teo. But here, a 130.8, Teo Porchero is well off the pace at Silverstone. We haven't changed the difficulty at all. I've been P20 at some races, and we're P6 here. That's just how the cookie crumbles. Some tracks you're better at, some tracks you're not best at. 4 points, soft, medium, hard does that. No, it's still significantly faster by about 15 seconds on overall race time to go with the one that we've originally thought was the best. So 28 laps on hards, 24 laps on medium, and we just go for it. All right, sounds good to me. Race time. Looks weird seeing my yellow car so far up on that right-hand side. Really strange. Not used to that yet. Engage the clutch. Revs, and we are off. Decent start by those on the mediums behind us, but we're going to hold the inside line here. We're in a sandwich. There was a McLaren on our inside that thought about throwing it up the inside. We've managed to hold P6 at the start at least, and that McLaren of Lando Norris on his medium tyres is going for Valtteri Bottas behind us. Hopefully they scrap. And I'm expecting the 5 in front of us to quite simply just disappear down the road. That's what everybody would expect, and I don't blame you. Lando Norris is past Valtteri behind. P6 is probably going to be the highest we could even possibly dream of finishing today without retirements. And to be fair, there's a very quick Red Bull in Max Verstappen back there in P9 that will be wanting to get his way through very, very soon indeed. Here comes Lando. He's thinking about going up the inside at Cops. Let's see how that goes for you, Sunshine. He's forced me wide. He's still there. And he is past, and they are really quick. In a straight line here, the AI. Bottas turned into me there. He's forced me well off line. I'm going to have to use a lot of battery here to try and keep up with Lando Norris and stay out of Max Verstappen's reaches, but we're down to P7. Bottas having a look at Max, but you imagine Max will get through. Max is on hards as well, actually, so he's going longer. Lando's going to be too quick to stick with, I'd imagine, in these early stages. And this is what I mean. On 1 lap pace, our teammate's in the pits. Teo must have had damage, so there's 3 cars in the pits. There goes Max Verstappen. They're just so strong in a straight line, aren't they, the AI this year? And with a heavy fuel load, really sure I should keep that position, but Max will get me sooner rather than later anyway. Max has spun me round. Cheers, pal. That went well in, didn't it? I keep the position by going off the track, so I should yield it anyway. But I thought Max is going to get me anyway, so I won't go out my way to yield it. And then he comes flying up here. Oh, was it actually... It might even have been the Haas. It was the Haas of Mick Schumacher that spins me and just drives into me. Leaves me there in the middle of the road. Thanks, Mick. So we'll flashback back here, and I'll try and make sure that I get turn 1 right instead. And don't go off the track and then illegally keep a position, which is what we've been able to do. Try and hold P8 now ahead of the Alpine, which we have done. No DRS till next lap, of course. But that Alpine of Esteban Ocon on soft tyres, so he is going to be fast. Really, really fast. We're going to have to utilise our battery as best we possibly can in these early laps to try and keep with those in front of us. But we are surrounded by cars that are either A, faster than us on any tyre, or B, faster than us because they're on a softer tyre. I think the majority are just faster than us on any tyre, but on qualifying pace, we were able to put in a really good lap, but our race pace has always been slower compared to that of quali. Here comes Esteban Ocon into Agates and Beckett's. And he stopped and pulled out the way a little bit there, Esteban Ocon. I'm not sure what he was doing there. And by putting himself offline and slowing down, we are going to hold the position, are we? Perhaps not. He's still alongside me. Trying to give him a bit of a squeeze, but on those soft tyres, he'll sweep around the inside. I'll try and go around the outside and hold the position, because then we should have the inside line for the chicane, but no, he's just got the pace to go all the way around the outside of me, but we will be in his DRS range for the next lap. I had to be careful I didn't pinch the apex there, because the Haas of Mick Schumacher was having another look down my inside, and we're already out of DRS range of the Alpine in front. Those guys on the faster tyres are, well, unsurprisingly, faster. We're still in the points though. P9. We've only gone back 3 places from quali to a Red Bull. An Alpine on tyres that are 2 grades softer than ours. And a McLaren that's on softer tyres than ours as well. So we can't be too disappointed with the way the race has started. Nick's got an Alonso there through Agates and Beckett's as well, and now has a run at me. Try and hold him off though, which we've done well. Go away please, Mick Schumacher. You can see how Ocon on those soft tyres is just disappearing into the distance. I was hoping we might be able to last in someone's DRS to try and keep pace with some of those in front. Unfortunately, they are just too quick for me right now. Or, rephrase, I got overtaken at the wrong part of the track, really. If they'd have overtaken me here, then I could have hung into their DRS, but we were half a lap away from a DRS zone, so it didn't really stand much chance, I'm afraid. And the Wellington Straight, Nick's going to have a run at me as well, but I will use some of my battery to try and keep up, or keep him behind, but actually we didn't really need to use it in the end. We're a bit slower on the apex. We use some of Mick's in real life defending tactics from the Austrian sprint against him, actually. Try and park it on the apex, then nail it on exit and try and open the gap a little bit, but this is basically now all but full throttle. Oh, he's having a look up the inside of Copse. That is risky from Mick, but he's going to make it work. We will have DRS now, though. We're down to 10th. Still in the points for the time being. But we'll now have DRS on Mick Schumacher down the next straight. Fernando behind me is on soft, so... Again, we used that... Where is Fernando? Oh, Albon's taken him. Fernando got well out of shape. I don't know whether I was involved in getting in the way, perhaps. I don't think so. And Albon's taken Alonso. Did I force Alonso wide there, maybe? No, Alonso... Oh, he went off the track. He was fighting with Albon and went off the track. It had nothing to do with me at all. So, to this point, we have had a number of pitters. Alonso with a collision with Albon there, as you can see. Esteban Ocon with a collision with Mick Schumacher. Bottas has pit for front wing. K-Mag has pit for a front wing. Teo Pourchaire has pit for a front wing. My teammate, unfortunately, on lap 1. And now Fernando Alonso as well. There's a lot of front wing damage. We have damage on simulation, of course, so any sort of half minor comings together do lead to to wing damage. I'm going to try and stick him inside here against Alex. Force him out wide a little bit and then put the throttle down. Probably get me into Maggots and Beckett. So, and here comes Daniel Ricciardo on soft tyres behind Albon as well. Having to use a lot of my battery in these early stages of this Grand Prix. He's going to have a look up the inside of Copse as well. They do like having a go here, don't they? I might hold him off through Maggots and Beckett. So I'm going to have to give him racing room. And we have been able to hold him off. Managed to position the car well enough to slow him up, but frustratingly, I'm now going to be a sitting duck down the straight. We'll try and hold the inside line. I'm using a lot of battery here. And this is what I mean about our race pace being slow, but again, every car that's coming past us at the minute is on softer tyres than us. We're playing the long game, as we tend to like to do. It's my preference to be faster at the end of the race, rather than... Oh, fucking hell. It's my preference to be faster at the end of the race than it is to be faster at the beginning and then try and hang out a tyre to the end of the Grand Prix. I'd rather be slower at the beginning, pit later, and then go on to a faster tyre for the end of the race. That's my preference. Ricciardo is now past Albon. There is a bit of a gaggle behind, but we saw that all of those front runners, all of those started behind us were on soft tyres, so they are going to be fast, and we are going to be a bit of a bottleneck. But every lap they spend behind me going slower is a lap that brings us hopefully further forward in the Grand Prix come the end of it. We're trying to take these tyres to lap 28, and at the minute that is looking very, very comfortable. The tyres are 7% worn after 5.5 laps, nearly 6 laps. Daniel's going to have some DRS, but we will utilise our battery to our advantage, and those soft tyres will be starting to go off as well. They're not going to be as grippy as they were at the start. Tyre wear on the softer compounds is high around here, as we saw in practice and quali. 2 flying lap runs on one set of softs, and they were down at 30%. Fine. Daniel's having a look up the inside. Again, we'll just hold our position. Keep him at bay. It's an action-packed opening 7 laps though, isn't it, so far? Opening 6 laps. I'm having to use a lot of battery though. These early stages. More so than I would have liked. But if it's keeping people behind us at times, then it's worth it, isn't it? Expecting those that started on softs to be pitting around about lap 9 or 10. A bit more breathing room up to Copse this time. This might even be the first lap we haven't had pressure into Copse. At least only the second at most. Back end step to me a little bit there. And again, use a bit of battery. Try and stay ahead of Daniel. Here it comes, though. I'll just hold the inside line. You can try and hang on around the outside if he likes, but we are going to have the speed to be able to hold him off. Lando Norris is in the pits on lap 7. He must have hit someone and picked up damage, because there's no way he'd drop his medium tyres after just 7 laps. There's no way he's pitting on mediums before others on softs are pitting without any sort of car damage. Daniel is looking like he's going to get me here. He's turned into me there. I thankfully haven't picked up any damage from that. I wonder whether he has. Might let him get in front here so I can have DRS to actually help me defend from those behind me a little bit more. I didn't get DRS. He got DRS. Where's the detection point? The detection point is into the first couple of corners. That's annoying. And I'll hang it around the outside of Alex Albon then. And I'll try and stick with Daniel Ricciardo all the way to Maggots and Beckett's to within a second of him, but I don't know whether I'm going to be able to do that. I'll try and just stay in his toe. I want DRS down the hanger straight, basically. It should help us stay ahead of Alex Albon. God, it's been really intense this first few laps, hasn't it? I don't think we've had a start to the Grand Prix like it all season so far. You are right, Leclerc is disappearing up top. But he's on the softs. Don't forget, he's on softs and has an extra pit stop on everybody else. Everybody behind him, other than Esteban Ocon and Daniel in front of me, is on the hard tyre. That's why Charles has just pieced out up front, because he has to open up a pit stop's worth of space. Lando Norris does have to pit for front wing damage because he's had a collision with Carlos Sainz, who's currently sat in P6. Oh, we will at some point have the chance to breathe in this Grand Prix, but not yet anyway. This video might end up being quite long, just purely because there's so much action in it. Hopefully there's this much action in the Austrian Grand Prix later on, well, this afternoon as you see this, but tomorrow as we record this. Right, we are going to be within a second of Daniel now. The detection point is here in the braking zone for this right-hander, where you've got to be within a second of him. But we are within a second of him, and hopefully now we can actually get that, stay within a DRS zone of someone and actually save some tyres and battery, part of my plan. It's taken 9 laps to actually come to fruition because we've been battling so hard with those on softer tyres. Even though we've been falling backwards, the chance of points is still very much there if we've got the pace at the end of the race. They are a little bit slower through Copse with worn tyres than we are at the minute, so that's playing in our favour, and slower through Maggots and Beckett's as well, although I've paused up the second of the 3 there. Come out through Chapel and put the DRS on. Now those soft runners will be lapping soon. Here comes Yuki Tsunoda on his soft tyres past Alex Albon. Like I say, lap 9 or 10 is when I think some might pit. They might be able to stretch them a little bit longer, but there is no way at all that they can go soft to hard. I really just don't see it. Unless there's a safety car, I don't see them being able to go soft hard. Here comes Yuki, he's going to have a look up the inside of me. Into turn 1. I hang it all around the outside. Keep all four wheels on the track. Or at least one wheel within the track limits. Unfortunately, I was over a second behind Daniel there because I was busy defending to Yuki, so I'm not going to get DRS here. Which is a real pain in the backside. If I wasn't having to defend from Yuki, I would have still had it. Now Daniel will have the opportunity to race away from us. I will try and get back within DRS range of him for the hangar straight, if I can. Because we know we're a little bit quicker through Copse and through Maggots and Beckett's, but I'm going to have to drive a perfect second sector here to maintain that gap to Daniel. This is helping at the minute. P10, knowing that Daniel Ricciardo and Esteban Ocon in front of us have 2 stops left to do, and when we only have 1, and they're going to be moving to harder tyres than they're on now. Alex got out of shape there. We didn't make any contact with him. We just kind of shut the door. Right, now then, it seems, is where our hard tyres are starting to come into their own. Because we've definitely got the pace on Daniel now, and those behind are starting to fall away. Or at least aren't keeping up and aren't all over the back of me anyway. And we should. Jancy subscribes for the 8th month. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that very much indeed. We should be able to hold on to the back of Daniel here and maybe even take him into Stowe. Charles hasn't pit though from his soft tyres yet. And I'm able to actually get my battery back up as well, which is going to help me defend later. I might not have this. I'm just going to take it easy. Well, they slow around the apex. Come on, Daniel, mate. Right, I'll stick behind him for now, just so I can get DRS down the Wellington straight, but I'm going to try and take him into Brooklands. Because as you can see, that has allowed, him being so slow around Stowe has allowed Alex Albon back behind me. Really frustrating. He's going to have a go at me as well here into turn 1. Stick on the outside though, and we'll keep it. Sorry, Alex. I'm keeping that position, pal. Too far from Daniel now to make a move, but there's an Alfa Romeo in the pits. Is that for more front wing damage, or is that for a genuine stop for tyres? I'm not sure. Who is it? It's Bottas again. He's done a lap that's a 1:38.0, which says to me he's been battling with someone and has picked up damage. It would be unfortunate for him, but unfortunately I think he might be pitting for damage again. Although he pit on lap 1, didn't he, Valtteri? So it might not be. He pit on lap 1, which means his tyres have gone 11 laps. So you'd assume then that very soon the other soft runners will start to come in. Right, I might use some of my battery to try and get past Daniel now, because he is just holding me up through some of the slower corners, or higher, sorry, not slower corners, through the high speed, high downforce turns. A little bit of wheel spin there. We should be able to get him now. Is he going to go defensive? He's not. We'll try and get him through Stowe. And we've got the move done.
Nice work, mate. That brings
back
you
up to P9. Still, those soft runners aren't pitting, and now we're actually starting to make ground on them. Wow, a little bit late getting on the throttle there. It's going to cost me some time, but we've got a bit of battery to be able to do that now. Esteban Ocon in the pits. So those soft tyres, they're brand new soft tyres, lasted 14 laps. Expect Daniel to pit now as well then. No, he's staying out and battling. Okay.
Ocon's in the pits.
And he's gone to hards. They are going to try and one-stop it softs to hards, look. Unless they're going soft, hard, and then medium at the end. Surely you can't do 37 laps on hards. You might be able to, you know. It'd be really slow at the end, though. Okay, Albon is past Ricciardo behind. Tsunoda and Ricciardo having a bit of a battle, and they're still out. They're still not thinking about pitting. One of the AlphaTauri's in now. They were both battling with the McLaren of Ricciardo. I am concerned at the minute that those soft runners are going to go to hard tyres to the end of the race. If they one-stop soft to hard, that is going to kind of ruin my strategy. Stroll and an AlphaTauri in the pits. Stroll and the other AlphaTauri in the pits. No, must be Seb and the other AlphaTauri in the pits, because Stroll, Daniel Ricciardo are chasing us now. Hopefully we'd have a lot of... There you go, Charles is in. Charles is in from the lead of the race. Hopefully at the end of the race, though, they're going to be so much slower on their really worn hards compared to us on much fresher mediums. Charles Leclerc going to hards on lap 18. Mick's right behind him now. Hopefully he and Mick have a bit of a battle and it slows them up. Mick has just been quite happy, sat behind Sergio Perez, just lapping, sat just about a second and a half behind him, which is odd because he's just outside a DRS range. If he pushed a little bit more, he could maybe have got himself into DRS range and pulled away from us a little bit better, but never mind. Him now having DRS on Charles is going to be annoying.
Okay, gap ahead is 16.3 seconds.
What would have been good for us was if Charles had come out behind Mick, and then they had to have a bit of a fight on track. They are fast on the straights, but because of our tyre strategy, we're faster through the corners. And at the minute in traction zones as well.
The car behind's just boxed for mediums. Car behind on the medium tyre.
Sainz has gone soft medium. Okay.
That's Sainz behind you now. Our gap behind is 4.3 seconds. They're on fresh mediums.
Sainz is going to the end on mediums. Sainz is gonna... Oh no, Sainz was on hards, wasn't he? Sainz was on hards. Sainz was on hards. Yeah, Sainz was on hards. So he's gone to mediums this early. He's gone to mediums really early. And he's going to go to the end of the race on those mediums from lap 20. We're doing a much longer stint on his hards, on his mediums than we are. Much longer. Now Mercedes and a Red Bull are in the pits. That's Verstappen as well. So those hard runners are going to their mediums a lot earlier than we were planning on going to ours. So much earlier than we were planning on going to ours. I guess they're in a position where they can match each other's strategies and it won't cost them. Like, we're not going to be so quick on our mediums compared to them. We're just not a threat. We're kind of running our race against different cars that are running different strategies. But he's going to be slow on those cold mediums for now. Unfortunately, it's given Alex Albon DRS, but it's fine enough for us at the minute to stay with. Thanks for the follow. Lays Insanity. We're going to go to mediums about lap 28. Insanity, about 28. I just want to have fresh rubber at the end of the race. Fresher rubber. It's so fast around that last couple of corners, I just can't match them.
Dropping a second a lap to the car behind. 1 second.
Okay, Checo's in the pits now for his mediums as well on lap 22, or lap 21 even. Is that George Russell going slowly? Or is he just, he might just come out of the pits, to be fair. Really frustrating, he keeps giving Alex Albon DRS. Although he didn't get it there. Here's Carlos Sainz behind me. Thankfully the DRS and a bit of batteries keep me ahead of him for now. But he is not going to be behind me for long. He'll get past me into turn 1 probably. Because the AI is so fast around this section, I just can't live with it. They can nail the throttle so early around here, and my back end of the car just doesn't live with it. That's fine. I'll get DRS then, through the next section. Because we're behind Sainz by a second, or by less than a second through that detection point. Alex Albon won't have any DRS. Sainz might have a look at him into cops, maybe. He's thinking about it. He thought better of it. He'll have him down the hanger straight though. There's no doubt about that. Typically, when it doesn't matter, we took Maggots and Beckett's perfectly then. And no, Ryan, we haven't pit yet. Sainz is past Albon, is he? No. He's trying to switch back, but that didn't work. Around the outside at the chicane, maybe. See, they just pin their throttle from here, and my back end does not like it. And that is Sainz past Albon. Now I'm going to try and pass Alex now. We're going to be much quicker than him after the pit stop. I just don't want to. I don't want to go onto mediums too late. If you know what I mean. But he said that the pit stop that we've set, or the pit strategy we've set for ourselves, was the fastest way to get to the finish. So that's why we're going to stick with it. Bye, Alex. Maybe not. I've had to go to the outside. Maybe not. Bye, Alex. Battling side by side. Got the inside line though for the next part of the track. He's going to try and hang around the outside. I'm not going to let him. To Max Verstappen and close the door. That's us up to P7 for now. If I pit now, I'll come out 11th. So we'll come out of the pits out of the points, but hopefully have the tyre wear, speed of the softer compound, to get ourselves back into the points. That's the plan. Alex is having a look at me, but still we're just going to hold him off. Checo's coming. And just could not live with the torque demand there. I'm in real trouble. We've managed to deal with it, and now Sainz is having a look at Alex Albon. Bit of contact. Alex getting feisty defensively, which will give me Bit of a reprieve. Thank you very much, Alex. Appreciate that. So when we pit, we're going to come out in that gap. There's a big gap behind Mick in P11. If you look at the mini-map, you've got the 2 dots behind me. Then you've got the 2 dots behind them. And then half a lap, seemingly, back to the next Aston Martin in P12. So, yes, we're going to come out in P11, but it's going to be quite a way behind Mick Schumacher and Esteban Ocon. Quite a way behind indeed. We're going to have to work hard to try and close that down. But work hard we will. I think I'm going to pit lap 30. Alex Albon has made his mediums go 28 laps at least so far. So we can certainly do 22 laps on our set. His tyres are now nearing 40% wear. And this is the hard set, so I want to make these last as long as I can. Checo will get me. I'll try and stay with him as long as I can, and then once Checo's seen me off, then we'll pit, I think. I'm not going to pit till lap 30, or it is my intention to pit on lap 30 anyway. This thing, I have to manage it because we want to allow ourselves enough time with the better tyres to be able to close down. We don't want to stay out on these so long that when we pit for mediums, we don't have enough laps left to close the gap to those in front of us. Alex still going. Yellow flag behind us. Yellow flag on the hangar straight. I think a McLaren is retiring, or at least going slowly. A safety car now would be amazing. Lando Norris is out. Why is Lando Norris out? Presumably it's an engine blowout. Let's have a look. McLaren. That's Daniel. Yeah, his engine's gone. So that's Lando out the race. Oh, that's not going to be a safety car, is it? He's parked it in a great position to allow the race not to be interrupted. Which is annoying because I kind of wanted the race to be interrupted. Ocon and Mick Schumacher are going to be the ones that we're wanting to try and close down, which is basically the gaggle behind, so we're going to have to save almost the pit stop. They hopefully are going to be battling for quite a while. If they take time off each other, then that's going to save us a lot of time after the pit stop. And a good turn in, 2.2 to 2.5 second stop, please. No mistakes, perfect stop. So we're coming out in P11, a long way ahead of Lance Stroll. We don't need to worry about that. Actually, it's not going to be that long, that far ahead of Lance Stroll, is it?
Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound.
So I have, well, to be fair, Alex Albon, yeah, with Lando Norris retiring, when Alex Albon pits, we will be a net 10th. That McLaren retiring has done us a world of good. So it is highly likely that we will get points today. But how many? I'm not sure. We have 25 seconds to try and close up on Kevin Magnussen. But he's battling with Alex Albon and then Esteban Ocon, who's on hards. And Ocon on hards is going to be slow at the end of the race. We just have to hope that these medium tyres now last really well. A safety car would be beautiful about now, but I doubt it'll happen without a major crash. There you go, Alex Albon is in the pits now. And I'm driving like an absolute moron.
Okay, gap to the car ahead is 21.3 seconds.
There's Albon coming out the pits on his hards. We're up to P10. And it's the gap to Ocon that I'm most intrigued by, because he's the one on the hard tyres that will dictate the pace of Magnussen whilst he's behind him. I don't think we'll get lapped today. I don't think we'll get lapped. I think we'll be able to hold on to the lead lap just to the end. K-Mag's pitting. Kevin Magnussen's pitting. He must have damage then. There's no... Well, has K-Mag gone this far? Surely K-Mag's not gone this far on one set of mediums. No. Oh, he's gone soft medium. So K-Mag is just having to pit because he's doing a two-stop strategy. This is not a pit for damage. It's genuinely just a pit because that's how far his tyres have gone, I think. When did he stop, Magnussen? Oh, he stopped on lap 1 and put mediums on because of front wing damage. Lap 1 soft to medium. And he's, to be fair, he's gone a long way on those medium tyres now, all the way to lap 33. But that's K-Mag in the pits and changing to another set of... Well, I presume actually he's going to have to go to hards. So he won't have another set of mediums, will he? Not that are fresh, anyway. Find out in due course. Keep your eye on that top left. There you go. Hard tyre on for Kevin Magnussen. That should be P9 for us then. And indeed it is. That's... And there's another point or two. Going from 1 point for 10th to 2 points for 9th, which is what we got in Australia, of course. Annoyingly, my pace on these mediums isn't really that different at the minute to those in front on the hards. Which is really quite frustrating. I thought the medium tyre would be a bit quicker than this. Charles is coming. 1:30.5, he's just beaten the fastest lap of the race. Is he still on hard tyres? He's just put in the fastest lap of the race on a hard set of tyres that he's had on for nearly 30 laps. He has had them on for 30 laps. He's had them on for 33 laps, and he's just set the fastest lap of the race on those hards. To be fair, he may have had DRS at times off the back of K-Mag. Oh, I want to not get lapped, but at the same time, it's not like we're fighting for anything. I'd just be doing an extra lap for the sake of doing an extra lap. So I might as well just let Charles past down the hangar straight, or even down the old pit straight, and just do 51 laps, not 52. Go on then, Charles, through you go.
Right, we've got enough fuel for 3
Here we
more
go.
laps.
This will be our last lap then, now that Charles has passed us on lap 51 of 52. I thought we might be able to make it through the race without getting lapped, but sadly, not quite. So we will end in P9, which is points for the third race in a row. Not third race in a row, third race of the season. And this time we didn't have to have 2 safety cars to do it. In Australia, we were just rapid anyway, compared to everybody else. Here at Silverstone, we qualified really well. Our race pace hasn't been great, as we expected it wouldn't be. And strategy's not been amazing for us, actually. We would have been better probably going soft to hard, or hard to soft, which Charles Leclerc, who won the race, was able to do, and Esteban Ocon, who finished P7, went soft to hard as well. Had we known that was an option, I probably would have kept an extra set of softs back in quali, and then started the race on the hards and gone further than we did. But it is what it is. P9 is still P9. We will still very much take points and be very pleased with them. It's a double Mercedes podium, though. Charles Leclerc P1, Lewis P2, George P3, I believe. And indeed it is. So another 2 points for us takes us to double figures for the season, I believe. Yep, we're up to 10 points for the season now. Really pleased with that. Still 13th, but we're a long way behind Mick and K-Mag. But that'll do. Nicely there. And in Constructors' Championship, we're still 8th ahead of Aston Martin and AlphaTauri. Williams, the only team, yet to score any points. So that's a good race. We'll take it. Quali pace has been banging. Race pace hasn't yet been amazing anywhere, really, other than Australia. But we haven't We haven't moved forward. When we've qualified really well, we haven't moved forward from that qualifying spot. We've always tended to fall back a bit. We qualified in like 11th in the last Grand Prix and finished... Well, no, we've qualified it in like 11th or 12th in a previous Grand Prix and managed to finish in the 14th or 15th because race pace just hasn't been there. One thing we can do now, though, is add another sponsor to the car. Now, let's have a look here and see what we need to do. Out-qualify your rival. I could do that. It depends who my rival is, though. If it gives me a really difficult rival, then I'm probably not going to be able to do it, am I? That's 10 Constructor Championship points during race weekend. Well, my teammate isn't scoring points in any races, and I'm not doing it regularly enough, or not scoring enough to do that in one weekend. We've scored 10 Constructors points this season, but that's over 3 race weekends. 2 P9s and a P7. Driver of the day, not really doing that at the minute either. 5 Constructors points. Again, I've only done that once, so that's not really worth it. It's either the fastest lap during a race. I don't think we've done that once either. Beat your rival during a race. I don't have a rival currently, so I can't commit to that. Top 10 finish. We've only done that 3 of 10 times, so that's probably not worth it. Complete a clean race we could probably do. 3 Constructors points, meh. Score more points than the team directly above you in the Vehicle Performance Index. Again, not that achievable. Top 12? Again, we've only done that 3 times. 1 Constructors point. Are we going to score points regularly enough to do that? Qualify P15 or better could be worth it. We could do that. Overtake 10 different drivers during a race. We could do that as well. That would be worth more. Could go for Esto Perpetua. I think we'll do that. Let's go for Esto Perpetua. Overtake 10 different... will we be... Overtake... That's not 10 overtakes. That's 10 different drivers. I guess with pit stops... Does that... If pit stops count towards that, then that'll be easily doable. If not, then it's not worth doing. I don't know whether pit stops count for that. I'd be tempted to go for the Sunburst for a clean race. Let's go for the Sunburst for a clean race. Then we can add that onto the car, can't we? I'll do that off camera, though, and I'll show you it at the beginning of the next episode. As we will add some weight training for my teammates. Try and get him to be a little bit quicker. I've got some resource points now, but at present we're still at... capacity. I could do fabrication on the durability, and to be fair, durability is much more important this year, so I am going to do that. We're spending some money there. On the R&D, 6th of July, 1st of August. 6th of July, that weight training is about to get done. We don't have anything on the aerodynamics being done at the minute, so I can put something into here. Do we want drag reduction? Tertiary flaps, rear downforce. I'd probably go for drag reduction, to be honest, to make us faster in a straight line, considering the AI are very quick in a straight line. 40% chance of failure, unfortunately, but hopefully we get lucky and it works first time round. We have a 60% chance of it working. I don't have the resource points left to do anything else, I don't think. Supplier has added a general wear upgrade, thankfully. Thank you very much, Red Bull Racing. I could do the ICE wear. That's probably going to be important. Let's do that as well. We'll do ICE wear as well for durability. So I've got no resource points left. Thank you for the bit stuck next door. I've got no resource points left. And the contract is going to be due for renewal after the next Grand Prix, I believe. So I'm going to need another $1 million, which hopefully we will be able to raise in time. Otherwise... Oh, and the pistons failed. Of course the pistons failed. That's frustrating. That's a pain in the backside. Is it free? It's not, and I don't have enough resource points. That's a pain in the arse. That's annoying. Right, well, that will be where we leave the YouTube video for today. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Drop the video a like if you've enjoyed. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more. And follow me on Twitch. Come watch all the behind the scenes and watch the full race. I will see you in the next one tomorrow, which will be the Austrian Grand Prix. We'll be live streaming that this afternoon as you see this, and also doing a watch-along for the Austrian Grand Prix in real life as well. So come across and join me for that too, if you want. If not, check the main YouTube channel for any FIFA stuff. I mean, I can't... follow me on social media, I guess. Follow me on Twitter. I don't really have anything else to plug. That'll be all for now. Thank you, lads. I'll see you next time.